class. Tonight, I want to talk to you about human trafficking. I want to inform you of this crisis, and I also would like to try to persuade you that this crisis is detrimental to its victims. In the Bible, in Jude chapter 1, verse 22, God calls us to have compassion on our fellow man and to make a difference. Human trafficking is inhumane and it has no boundaries. And I think it would be a miscarriage of justice if we turned a blind eye to it. Now, let's skim the surface of this topic. The United Nations Office of Drugs and Crimes has a protocol set up for the action of trafficking. It's broke up into three areas: the act, the means, and the purpose. The act is recruitment, transportation, and keeping receipt of persons. The means, they do it by threats, they do it by force, they do it by abduction, they do it by deception, and they do it by abusing the vulnerability of individuals. The purpose is to exploit sexually, is to exploit in labor. It is a form of slavery, and they also use it to harvest organs of humans and sell them on the black market. Now, for my second point, the cause of human trafficking. According to the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur, trafficking traffickers prey on people in impoverished situations. They promise them money, better income, better place to live, and in the long run, they get nothing. So they are entangled in a web of deception. The people at the core of human trafficking, they absolutely have no conscience about the cruelty that they are committing to humanity. Now, for my final point. There are laws and organizations set up to help the victims of human trafficking. In December of 2008, Congress passed an act, and President Obama, he signed the act in December of 2008. The act is called the William Wilberforce Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act of 2008, and it helps fight against human trafficking. There are organizations out there that are working in the combat of human trafficking, like Global.net, Amnesty International, and the National Human Trafficking Resource Center. Now, I would like to close with these final thoughts. In the Bible, in Philippians chapter 2, verse 4, we are called to think not of our own interests, but to think of the interests of others. Helping to combat human trafficking would be using godly values. You can help to fight human trafficking. There are websites like DoSomething.org and HumanTrafficking.org that you can go on and sign up to campaigns. The National Human Trafficking Resource Center has a hotline that you can call if you think you are around some suspicious activity that might be human trafficking. You can call this hotline and get help. We have talked about the problem, the cause, and some of the solutions that are working towards the end of this horrible crime. The crisis of this crime pleads out to humanity to help fight, combat this scourge with a worldwide condemnation of the practice of human trafficking. I do believe God has this crime covered. though, when we look in the Bible in Jeremiah 17 and 10, we find the Lord searches our hearts and he gives accordingly to a man's ways, and he gives accordingly to the fruits of a man's doing. So therefore, I feel that God does have this crime covered, but also I would like to ask that if you can help fight against this crime, please do. And I'd like to thank you for listening to this brief presentation on why human trafficking is bad. Thank you for listening.